Hi, I'm Catherine McNutt, higher education reporter for the Oklahoman and News OK, and I'm talking today with President Burns Hargis from OSU about the coming to the end of the 7-year branding success campaign.
Right.
7 years. It's a little older than your presidency, is that right?
Just a little bit. We actually conceived this. I was named president in December of '07. But interestingly, I had been a regent. And under state law, as it read then, I had to wait a year after I had been a regent to go to work for the university. So in December, when I was named, it looked like I couldn't become president until July. None of this is relevant to what you're talking about, but in any event, yeah. And so then the legislature changed the rules that you only have to wait 6 months. So I became president in March. But anyway, we conceived of this idea and sprouted it in December of '07. So you're right. It's I guess we're coming right up to it, and I didn't become president till 4 months later.
Well, so this has been one of the biggest things of your presidency. This major campaign.
Oh yeah, it has. It's been the biggest thing, and I think for reasons beyond just the money. We don't have all the money. I mean, there are pledges, estate gifts, and the like. But what it did, I think, was surprise even the OSU family that this could be done. I don't think anybody really thought of us in these terms. And just starting to believe is half the battle. And playing sports, I always found that. If you believe you can do it, that's really half of it. So that was important. The other important thing about it was the beyond the money, were the number of donors. We had over 100,000 donors to the campaign, 45,000 of whom were making their first gift. So the key now for us is to, in the vernacular it's called steward, but stay in touch, provide information to these donors, to hopefully convince them that their gift is making a difference, the difference they intended. And if we do that, they have not written their last check. And a lot of them wrote checks that are still in young, middle-aged. That those terms change a lot as I get older, but many of them haven't even begun to move into their real giving period where they really have the disposable income to be able to do that.
So the goal was
$1 billion.
$1 billion, and it was reached early.
2 years early.
So we're coming to the end, but you've really already had success in that.
We're at about $1.2 billion now in terms of the overall.
So you'll keep taking donations.
Oh yes. Yeah, in fact, this is just a pause along the way. I mean, the trends in state government, every state, not just Oklahoma, every state government, because of all of the other requirements that the states have taken on, have slowly but very deliberately and surely reduced the amount of that they appropriate to higher education. You know, Oklahoma State's a land-grant university. That land grants were founded by Abraham Lincoln. A senator named Morrill from Vermont was actually the author of the original Land-Grant Act. In those days, the only universities were private. There were no public universities. And the only people that went to universities were the privileged. So Lincoln and Morrill thought everybody ought to be able to go to college. Lincoln would have liked to have gone to college. And so they came up with this idea that we have all this federal land in all of these states. Let's give part of that land to the states in return. The bargain would be in return for them developing a university that would focus in those days on the two principal industries, which were agriculture and mechanical or engineering. And military were another. So those were seen as the critical needs of the country at the time. And the states provided virtually all the money. After all, they got 30,000 acres per representative. And in those days, Oklahoma had, I think, 9 representatives, 2 senators and 7 congresspeople. We're down to 5 congressmen. And so we got 270,000 acres. and they sold a lot of that land, but we still have a lot of it, and fortunately the minerals. And they built the universities. Well, when I was in school, just as far back as 1988, the state provided about 70% of the cost of education. People my age talk about, well, I only paid $7 per hour for college. Well, yeah, because the state was providing, in those days, probably 85 or 90% of the cost of the college. Today, at OSU, it's around 18%. I'm told that it can be a lot worse. And the University of Colorado is like 3%. The state of Virginia's, or University of Virginia, I think is 2% comes from the state.
So going forward, continued fundraising is going to be very important.
I mean, you look at the Stanfords and the Harvards and the Yales, they can virtually provide tuition free to their students because of their enormous endowments. Well, public schools have had the luxury of not having to be that aggressive on fundraising. Well, as my friend and colleague David Bourne in Norman and I both know, we're going to have to dramatically raise the private funds that are available. Otherwise, we're going to head right back where we were, where only the privileged could go to school. And we want everybody who's ready, willing, and able to be able to go to school. The cost should not be a barrier.